Hi, this is Dave Travels Through Time, and this is the Batman stream. I just did a stream with Noel Tardison. We had a lot of fun. He's an awesome person. He's also going to send my link to his other subscribers so I can get more subs, and he's also subscribed to me. And we had a great talk talking about Doctor Who, Batman, and all kinds of things. So, check it out. So, today, now in this stream, we're going to be talking about Batman. Batman was created in 1939 by Bob Kane and Bill Finger. There's some dispute as to who created him more, Bob Kane or Bill Finger. I think it was equal partnership between the two. I think Bill Finger created certain elements of the character, like the costume, which is an important creation, and, certain elements of his character. And then he also helped develop the Joker. Batman was created in 1939. He was a darker character when he started. He had longer ears. He had a black and gray costume. He also had interesting villains like Hugo Strange in the golden age of Batman when he started. And he also killed a few villains, which is a vast difference from when his character evolved later on. He would refuse to kill, but he killed a few bad guys in the golden age Batman. That's the difference. And then Robin came a year later. Dick Grayson, he was created, and he became a popular fixture into the canon of Batman. Dick Grayson, when his parents were killed, were acrobatics in a circus. And then the Joker was introduced, and he is Batman's most popular villain. He laughs constantly, always gives Batman a hard time, and he has been the most popular Batman villain ranked. Then later, Penguin was created in 1943, who became another popular villain. Catwoman was created. And then, of course, the Batman serials were created in 1943. The first Batman movie serial, 1943, was a bit of almost like an anti-communist Batman film, where the villain was kind of a Japanese character, not played by a Japanese actor, but yeah, kind of a controversial movie. But I enjoyed elements of it. Yes, the Batmobile is very cheesy. It doesn't have any gadgets. I think it's a Cadillac or Lincoln, something like that. And then he has Robin in there as well. And basically the stories started to slowly become lighter in the comic books. Batman started becoming less of a dark character. His ears got shorter. His demeanor started being a little more not as dark. And then he was with Robin as well. And then the 1949 Batman serial came on. Robert Lowery replaced Lewis Wilson as Batman in that film. And, there's some elements. It was darker, but I wouldn't say it was super dark. Then, of course, then came the 1960s campy Batman TV series, which starred Adam West and Burt Ward as Batman and Robin, which started in 1966. And then the story started becoming even more silly, even less dark. And, actually, since the 50s, they were starting to get lighter and lighter, actually. And, the character was no longer the Dark Knight. He was more just the Caped Crusader, but a goofier version. Then, after Batman was canceled, the show, Batman returned to his darker format, courtesy of Neil Adams, who developed the character as darker. And he had the yellow oval on his chest as the logo. And he reinvented the Dark Knight, basically, to be darker again. And then the comic book became popular again. He would deal with the Man-Bat, deal with Ra's al Ghul, the new creation, the new popular villain created in the 70s with the Lazarus Pit. And Batman was reignited. Then Batman had some cartoons, Super Friends, Batman animated cartoon. Then Batman was once again reinvented in 1988, I believe, The Dark Knight Returns. Darker again. An older version of Batman had the shorter ears with his Batman. the Frank Miller version of Batman, The Dark Knight Returns. Basically, where Batman and Superman battle each other, and they're both older. And Bruce Wayne's a bit weathered, a bit older. Physically, he's, not as in good condition. And that became a popular comic book. Then in 1988, 89, I believe, Batman Year One, another Frank Miller, became very popular. About Batman's early days, about how he met Commissioner Gordon before he was Commissioner Gordon, Lieutenant Gordon. Another popular comic book. Good. I recommend it. And then we get into the 89 Batman, which was the 89 film starring Michael Keaton and Jack Nicholson as Batman and the Joker, which reinvented the franchise, again, by having the Batman be darker, Dark Knight, and it reinvented and it became a big blockbuster. And yeah, and then, of course, the animated series made in 1992, which starred Kevin Conroy as the voice of Batman and Mark Hamill as the Joker, became a very popular TV series. It was that in the 89 Batman that really got me into Batman. And that series lasted for 5 years. Then it combined with Superman to become the new Batman Superman Adventures. And then it got canceled. Then it ended. And then there was a new series called Batman Beyond, about a new Batman who Bruce Wayne was mentoring, with Terry McGinnis as the new Batman, who was a teenager. And Bruce Wayne was vastly older. I think he was like in his 70s or something. Alfred was already long gone. Good show. And then, of course, another new Batman came into play. Batman Begins. And then, of course, the franchise, unfortunately, in 1997, I'm going back a ways now, went downhill with courtesy of Batman and Robin. Went very campy, the bat nipples, the villains, and it was a critical disaster. It didn't make much money, but in 2005, Christopher Nolan directed the new Batman Begins, the new prequel, which told of how he became Batman, Bruce Wayne, how he became Batman. It starred Christian Bale as Batman and Michael Caine as Alfred. And it reignited the franchise. He went up against Ra's al Ghul, the Scarecrow, using his fear gas. And then 2008, The Dark Knight came around. The biggest blockbuster, courtesy of Heath Ledger as the new Joker. It made over $1 billion. $1 billion. And it was a huge success, courtesy of thanks to Heath Ledger's brilliant performance. Then there was a new Batman TV series, Batman the Brave and the Bold, which was an animated series, which was a take back to the more 1960s, 50s kind of slightly campier Batman that was on for 4 seasons. Then in 2012, The Dark Knight Rises came on, the conclusion of the Dark Knight's trilogy, which dealt with Bane being the villain. But he turned at the end, if you haven't seen it, not going to get away. Turns out he wasn't the all behind it all along. And in this one, like The Dark Knight Returns, Bruce Wayne's a bit crippled, a bit physically damaged, and a good conclusion to the trilogy. And then in 2015, Batman vs. Superman came out. A new version of Batman, which is Ben Affleck, who he plays the older version of Bruce Wayne in his 40s, who's a bit crippled like The Dark Knight Returns, a bit older, but he still has his fighting. Critically, he didn't do the best, but they still made a Justice League film, which was unfortunately a disaster. Didn't make as much money. And yeah, and now we are into the new movie rumor, the new Robert Pattinson thing, new Batman film, which is scheduled for next year. And then Michael Keaton is scheduled to return as Batman in the Flash movie and appear in other films as Batman that I'm excited about. So yeah, that's just a brief history of talking about specific characters. And then, of course, the Riddler, another very popular villain, came in the 40s. He's one of my personal favorite villains that he's done. And then Two-Face. And an interesting tidbit about Two-Face that I didn't talk about yet. His original name was Harvey Kent, not Harvey Dent. But they changed it because it sounded too similar to Clark Kent from Superman. Just a little trivia information on that. So 10 minutes into the stream. So yeah, now I talked a little about the history. I'll talk about how I got into Batman. I saw it in 1995, the first Batman film directed by Tim Burton. It was the first time I saw it. It was on a VHS, and I loved it. And then I got into the Batman animated series slowly after that, and I was enamored with the character. I would just watch them every Saturday morning, constantly. And that's basically how I became a Batman fan. Then I would watch all the movies and all the animated movies and series. And that's how I got into Batman. Almost 12 minutes into the stream. So, guys, if more people come on, who is your favorite? What is your favorite comic book of Batman, if you have one? And if somebody sees the stream later, what is your favorite Batman movie? Just curious to know what you guys think. And if some of you don't like Batman, that's fine. But the reason why he's my favorite character, he's a bit shy. He's a bit quieter because he doesn't like doing public appearances. That's just his public persona. And I feel like I can identify with it because I am like that sometimes. And I can relate to parts of his character. I do like Superman, but I feel like I can relate better to Batman. Not the whole billionaire thing, obviously. I'm not a billionaire, but I can relate to certain aspects of his character more. Not that Superman's bad. I'm not saying Superman's bad. I do like his character. Minutes from the stream. My favorite. Now I'll talk about my favorite Batman costumes. My favorite Batman costume that has been done in live action is the Michael Keaton one, the 89 and 92 one with the black yellow oval and the slightly medium length ears on the mask cowl. And my second favorite would probably be the Batman Begins version of the costume, and then the Val Kilmer third. Except the bat nipples. Not a big fan of those. But I like the mask and then the gold symbol on it. On the Kilmer version. So, 13 minutes into the stream. And interestingly enough, another tidbit of information that I learned recently that I didn't even know about is that Alfred Pennyworth wasn't his last name. His name was Alfred S. Beagle, like a beagle dog. And he was bigger too. He was bigger built back then in the beginning. Then they made him like really skinny later. "14 minutes in the stream." Yeah, you guess my favorite villains. Let's see, what would my favorite villains be? I'd probably go with Riddler, Two-Face, Joker might be third. Well, and then Catwoman's a good one. And then I like Poison Ivy as well. 14 minutes in the stream. You know, ones that are underrated, though, I think that are good, too, is Clayface. Scarecrow's kind of underrated. Yeah, I feel like Clayface is one of the underrated ones. It would be cool to see him in live action at some point. So, 15 minutes in the stream. So, 2 people in the stream now. So, what is your guys' favorite Batman comic that you've read? Favorite Batman story? Favorite Batman movie? Just curious to see. My favorites are Batman Year One, Batman Death in the Family. I believe that's the one where Robin dies, actually. That was the one where they voted on if Robin was going to die or not. It wasn't the Dick Grayson Robin, I believe it was the Jason Todd one. And they voted for him to die. It was like very close, but they just narrowly beat him that the fans wanted him dead, I guess. And that's what happened. Then there's that classic shot of him, Batman, holding Robin in his arms, like crying, sobbing, in shock, because he never thought that would happen. Courtesy of the Joker. The Joker was responsible for his murder. So that's a good story I recommend. There's quite a few other ones too. I like the Neil Adams the 70s version of the origin story was pretty cool, where he showed him like falling and then the bats, which was directly taken into Batman Begins, the opening moments of Batman Begins, where he falls and then the bats go towards him. People in the stream. And like I said before, and I guess I can talk about it again, I love the Batman Telltale game. Love it. So, just I would say the reason why is because you use your detective work as Batman, which you don't really get to do in the other video games, and you get to decide the dialogue. What's I like? You could either be a regular Batman, more laid back Batman, or you could be a little bit of an even darker Batman. And I like the artwork, the art design, the voice acting. Everything's pretty spot on. And yeah, some people were not crazy about certain changes to it. Well, it's not like Doctor Who, where they actually deliberately changed the origin of that when it wasn't even an alternate timeline or anything. It's supposed to be the regular timeline. With this, it's its own take on it. So that it can get away with. So I don't mind that Penguin was previously new Bruce before he becomes Penguin. I don't mind it. Doesn't bother me. 18 minutes in the stream. So yeah, guys, I briefly talked about the history, talked about what Batman costumes I like the most out of Batman, of his outfits. Now, what else could I talk about? The music. This is a hard one for me. I like the different types of themes that the different composers have made. I'd probably go with the 89 as my favorite Batman theme, but I also quite like the Batman animated series theme and the Batman Mask of the Phantasm theme song. It's a bit spooky and a bit eerie. And I do enjoy, probably third would probably be the Christian Bale themes. I believe his name's Hans Zimmer or something like that. The one that composed this. 19 minutes in the stream. So yeah, it was a lot of fun having Noel Tardison on StreamYard. We did a stream. We talked about Doctor Who and Batman. That was a lot of fun. Check it out. So what else could I talk about in the Batman universe? Let's see. Batmobiles. Forgot about the Batmobiles. What are my favorite Batmobiles? My favorite Batmobiles are the 1989 Keaton one, the animated series Batmobile, and the Batman Forever Batmobile. And I guess fourth, I kind of like the one in the Telltale games a lot. Then I guess the Christian Bale one would be fifth, I guess. So those are my favorite Batmobiles. I mean, technically, the Christian Bale one isn't even called the Batmobile. It's called the Tumbler. So, yeah. But yeah, so let's see, what else can I talk about? There's been how many Robins? There's been like 4 now, I believe. So Dick Grayson, 1. Jason Todd, 2. Tim Drake was the 3rd one. And then the son of Batman, who is Damian Wayne, was the last Robin. That's right. So I remembered it. And I think there was another one. There was a girl Robin, Cassandra or something. Sandra Kane, that's right. So there's been 5. Jeez. Yeah, a lot of Robins. Got a like. So as you can tell, I know a lot about the character. Not bragging or anything, but it's cool I know stuff. All right. So, what is your favorite Batmobile design? Which Batmobile do you think looked the best? Oh, an interesting tidbit is Michael Keaton apparently he read the script of Batman Forever and he thought it was way too campy. So he politely declined and said, "I'm not going to do it." And that apparently it was the Warner Brothers wanted to go in a lighter direction so they could sell even more merch. Because apparently the merchandise of Batman Returns did not sell very well. Yeah, it's all about those merchandise sales. Just an interesting little tidbit. "23 minutes in the stream." So, guys, what else could I talk about Batman? Talked about some of the villains. Sure, there's something else I'm missing. Oh yeah, I didn't talk about this. The whole reason Batman didn't know he had a son. So apparently Damian Wayne, I'm sure some of you know, but Damian Wayne, son of Batman, he didn't know about. He fathered it with Talia, who is the daughter of Ra's al Ghul, one of Batman's worst enemies, worst foes, deadliest foes. And he was a bit more of an arrogant Robin, a bit overconfident. Damian Wayne. Mm, 25 minutes almost into the stream. Hi, how are you? John, how are you doing? What's your favorite Batmobile design? What's your favorite Batmobile design? The tank. You like the tank one? Interesting. Yeah, for me, it's the Keaton and the Batman Forever and the animated one. And then I like the Telltale game design too. I think it's cool. It's cool how it could change into a sports car and then automatically change into the Batmobile. I thought that was cool. But the Bale one is good too. I just wish it was called the Batmobile. I guess they just wanted to make it sound even cooler and call it the Tumbler. Change it up, I guess. Because they're trying to make that realistic version of Batman, Nolan. What about favorite Batman designs, Batman costumes? John, what's your favorite Batman costumes? For me, it's the '89, and I like the logo on the Kilmer. I just didn't like the bat nipples on it, and then I like the Bale Begins one. Keaton, yeah, yeah. I like the yellow oval the best. I think out of the logos too, and then I like the slightly. They're not super pointy, but they're a little bit pointy ears on the Keaton one. I don't like the super small ears on the Affleck one. I don't know. That's just me. Should be virtually all black. Yeah, I feel like the blue design. There's been a few blue designs in the comic books. I just don't feel like it would work in live action. But that's just me. I feel like if you went a light blue on that, it wouldn't look scary or intimidating enough to the bad guys. Yeah, just people. I think people would laugh. There's been a few blue designs back in like when the sun went like kind of campier. I mean, the comic book. And then, of course, the Adam West one was light blue, too. So, yeah, I did the stream. Yeah, they were kind of blue in that one. Yeah, I don't know what happened with that. The costumes weren't very good for that. They looked pretty bad. I mean, to each their own. Some people like those designs. I know one person, they were saying, "Oh, the Batman and Robin design is their favorite," and I just looked and just thought, and like, really, that's your favorite? Okay, not for me. And the Dark Knight one was okay. I just felt like the mask was too squished in his face. It looked like it was too squished. It needed more room for like his cheeks and stuff. The mask, the cowl on it. But it still wasn't nearly as bad as Batman and Robin design. So yeah, I had fun doing the Noel TARDIS Zone stream. That was fun. He actually likes Batman too a lot. His favorite is Keaton as well. And then he said Bale was his second favorite. But yeah, they do that for merchandising, huh? The movie thing. They change up the costumes, like the Sonar costume. Oh my gosh, I think it was in the Batman and Robin one. It was Batman, Batgirl, and Robin. Their outfits looked ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. They looked like something out of a comedy or spoof of Batman or something. It looked ridiculous. It was even worse than the Adam West costume. I mean, it looked ridiculous. Those costumes. Then, of course, oh yeah, one thing in the Schumacher ones that always bugged me. Why did they show the back door shot of Batman, where they showed his, caboose, his arse? I never understood that. Then they got to show the crotch shot too. I thought that was ridiculous. That was so over the top. I think it was in Batman Forever and Batman Robin they did it. What the heck was that all about? Ridiculous. When he gets ready to put on the mask and stuff, it's much better done in Batman and Batman Returns when he gets ready and changes, and I like when he got ready in the Batman Begins when he puts on the mask and gets on the armor. That was pretty cool how they did it in Begins. But the Schumacher when he gets ready was absolutely ridiculous. That was terrible. The crotch shot and the back door shot. What the hell? Then they did it with Robin and Batgirl, I believe. I believe they did the same thing. Cheesy as F. Batman porno. That's pretty funny. After Burton, he became a superhero. Yeah, I mean, and here's the thing. I think Batman can be a hero, but he also needs to be a vigilante. And after Burton, he became too much of a superhero. He was almost standing like Superman now. Batman never did that pose before, where he's like arms crossed, like that. Almost like a Christopher Reeve pose or something. Very strange. Where he should be going like this. You know, kind of with his cape like that. He needs to have the cape kind of like in the animated series intro where he's kind of like hiding his face a little bit and he's got the one eye with the cape like that. I love that shot in the animated series. But yeah, the animated series was really well done. It wasn't, in the canon, it wasn't taken from 89, but there were certain elements that were taken from it. Obviously, Gotham looked different from the movies. But I think the Joker was actually named Jack Napier like it was in the 89, if I remember correctly. And then what did you think of, oh gosh, Batman versus Superman? My gosh, did he get some bad dialogue in that film. Ben Affleck. And then the workout scene. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. And then the Martha. Oh my gosh. What were they thinking again? I don't blame Ben Affleck, but the script. What were they thinking? The script was. Yeah, I mean, he looks the part and stuff. I'm just saying the dialogue wasn't very good. I mean, he fit the role good, but the dialogue. I did not like the dialogue in that film at all. I thought it was way over the top. It's like it was back to Schumacher again, almost. I mean, I know it was darker, but gosh, the dialogue was ridiculous. I was not feeling it. That's just my honest opinion. I'm just expressing how I felt. I don't blame Ben Affleck, though. It's not his fault, 34 minutes, almost 35 minutes in the stream. Yeah, so I did the TARDIS Zone Noel stream. I think I did it for about an hour. Yeah, we did it a day early. I was originally supposed to do it on Monday, but he was nice enough that, hey, he was like, I'm going to go for it on Sunday. So I was like, cool, let's do it. And yeah, like Affleck, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I just think the script was bad. That's just my opinion. I mean, there were elements even in The Dark Knight Rises. If I really wanted to critique it, I could see some elements of that were even could have been done better. I think it does. I mean, that's my opinion, but I think you can have your own, your own versions of it. You can make your own stamp on it because they're, the multiverse and all that. You can make your own versions of it. They all don't have to be exactly the same. That's why I was fine with them doing the Telltale game thing when they had him and Penguin be friends, Oswald Cobblepot, before they became enemies. It didn't bug me. It didn't bug me at all. Some people hated that whole idea, but I'm like, it's its own thing. Even the writer of the story was like, it's its own thing. It's another take on it. It's not meant to take away from the other ones. So it doesn't bother me. It didn't bother me at all. I actually liked it better than Arkham. The Arkham games. That's just my opinion. Because I like that you could do the detective work and stuff in it. Which I feel like hasn't really been done properly. Now, the Doctor Who thing we won't go into, but that's a different story. That's a totally different story. Because it's set in the same canon. Hi, Donna. How are you? So, yeah, I feel like the canon thing is a different thing. In Batman, you can get away with it. But Doctor Who was supposed to set in the same timeline. So that's what just totally messes with it. Doesn't make any sense. It was a different timeline. I might be okay with it. But the fact that it was set in the same timeline as the classic stuff, So yeah, I mean, yeah, you don't have to like Batman if you don't want to. But yeah, I'm glad you're here. I just like him because he's complex, and I can relate to him because I'm kind of quiet sometimes. The silent observer. Sometimes Batman's more like. Hey, Don, I wrote something in the stream for you. Did you get my post? Yeah, yeah, they were bad. Okay. But yeah, what else can we talk? Yeah, I don't have a problem with them doing different stories with the canon. But that's just me. Some people have problems with it. It's their own timelines and stories, so I feel like it can work. But with Doctor Who is a totally different story. But to me, that what they did with it, not canon for me. Just my opinion. So 3 people in the stream. 40 minutes in already. So yeah, I'm going to start having more guests on here. John said he might be interested in coming on this week. Yeah, I feel like you got to stick with it. And once you change it too much, especially when it's supposed to be in the same timeline. If it's a different timeline, it's its own thing. I don't really mind it. Like if the Doctor Who thing, if it was a reboot and it was a new Doctor type character, I wouldn't really care. But when it's supposed to be the same character and the same timeline, doesn't work for me. I'm sorry. Just doesn't work. So, did any of you guys? Here's another one. Hey, John, did you ever watch Hercules: The Legendary Journey? Speaking of mythologies, yeah, continuity. Yeah, I agree. And it just doesn't make any sense because the Doctor's, even the Time Lord present, said he showed me the earliest incarnation. It was Hartnell, and the 5 Doctors, he said he was the original. It doesn't make any sense. And the Brandon Morbius thing. People always make excuses for that, but even Hinchcliffe said later on, maybe that was a mistake, and it could be a future incarnation of the Doctor if you want, or it could be Morbius. It doesn't have to be a earlier one before the first. So make of that what you will. They were going to intend to do that, but then they changed their minds. So there we go with that whole thing. So to make that as an excuse for it, I'm sorry. I don't agree. I disagree with that. See, if it came even from his mouth that yes, they were going to intend to make those previous incarnations before the first Doctor, but he changed his mind. And he said it could be Morbius or a future incarnation of the Doctor, whatever you want. So it doesn't make any sense. They just try to make that as an excuse to justify them doing it. And I guess if you want to do that, fine. That's your prerogative. So yeah, Johnny, have you ever seen Hercules: The Legendary Journeys? That's speaking of mythology, Greek mythologies. That was kind of a show as a teen. I saw reruns of it. I actually don't think he's a bad actor either. I mean, he might not be the greatest actor in the world. He's probably more equipped with like action type things. But Sorbo, he's not actually a bad actor when you think about it. So, John, have you ever seen Hercules: The Legendary Journeys? I know I'm going a little off topic here, but I decided to add a few things. Have you ever seen that other show? What is it called? Andromeda. It was that one. It's got him in it. He's almost like another Hercules type character, but it's from that Gene Roddenberry Star Trek creator. And he's the captain of the Andromeda Ascendant. On the starship Andromeda, hope lives again. I remember that line from it in the opening titles. I think that show only lasted like 5 seasons, but it was almost like it wasn't like Star Trek. It was a different type, but it was created by the creator of Star Trek. I don't know if you saw that, John, or not. It wasn't as popular as like Stargate or anything like that. I think, yeah, Stargate was a big franchise. There's been how many Stargates, I think? You didn't like Andromeda, really? Okay. I mean, I liked it, but maybe it was a bit too actiony. Maybe, not everyone likes that type of stuff. I guess it wasn't a really thinking type show, I guess. I mean, they probably changed it a bit. I think his original concept probably had more science into it. And here's one thing I have to admit. Peter Davison, I'm going to get hate for this, but Peter Davison is one of my all-time favorite doctors, and I'm not afraid to admit it, people. He is one of my favorite doctors. You guys can attack me all you want for liking the Fifth Doctor, but he is one of my favorites. So if you go, oh, why is he ahead of this doctor or that doctor? It's how I feel passionately about, and that's my opinion. So just thought I would state that. Yeah, I've seen Blake 7. It's a good show. But yeah, I thought I would just state that because really, I don't think he's boring at all. I really like I think he's a good actor, Peter Davison. I don't think he's boring at all. I even liked, I mean, yes, he even admitted that he was Tristan, kind of had that Tristan, Farnan vibes, of his character from All Creatures. He had some of that Tristan Brave he was described as. I didn't mind maybe it's because I see some of myself in him, Maybe that's what it is. The personality, I mean. Just a little bit. But I like playing the spoons like McCoy, so maybe I'm a mix. And then I'll have like the quiet, don't want to, be in public gatherings vibe of Batman. You should really check his audios out. He does a good job, and if you should check out the Big Finish audios that he did. His acting in those are spot on, and his voice is even a little deeper too. I thought he did a good job in those. He was able to, kind of branch out a little bit in his character. But you didn't think he had charisma, huh? I mean, you have the right to your opinion. That's it's how I feel. Big Finish is not canon. Yeah, I guess. But I like him as an actor. And I liked him in Campion. He had that eccentricity about him in Campion. He even admitted, though, he might have been even better if he had waited till he was in his mid-40s to play the part. Because when he did Campion, he had even more of the eccentricity when he played that part. And part of it was the writing. I mean, I think part of it was the writing. They didn't let him, develop further. They just told him to be kind of the nice doctor, the nice, pleasant, react to situations doctor. And slightly more human for sure. I think he's one of the most human doctors, I guess, out of the bunch. Well, I don't know. It's hard to say. What would you say? He's even more human than McGann? So that's just how I feel about it. But we can talk more about it when we do our live stream too. I mean, I know you're probably going to be like, oh, he has all this Peter Davison stuff. Oh gosh. Yes, I admit I have some merch of his. A lot of Fifth Doctor stuff. Him and McCoy are my favorites, and then I do like Colin Baker, and then Tom would probably be my top 4. But that's just me. See, that's an unpopular opinion right there. Having those 4 as your favorite. Nobody has those. There's not many people who has those as their top 4. So, hey, I'm unique, I guess. So you just thought he was okay as a doctor? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you have the right to your opinion, about Davison, you don't have, he doesn't have to be one of your favorites. So McCoy was one of your favorites. Nice. Yeah, I mean, it's all for different tastes. We all have different opinions on stuff. Nothing bad wrong with it. It could be just because I was raised with him too. As a little kid, he was one of the first doctors I saw. But I think it's just I just liked him. And then it was McCoy. I think Tom was no, actually John Pertwee was my favorite, my first one that I saw. I think it was towards the end of his era though, and then I rewatched all of his later. Good doctor. Of course, Tom's a legend, right? He's like the voice and everything. He's got the alien. He's the most alien. Probably Tom was probably the most alien doctor of them all. $52 in. Yeah, I don't know why there's a delay. So yeah, we'll talk more about stuff on Tuesday, right? I think we said we were going to do a stream on Tuesday or Wednesday at 6 or something. 6 something your time, but it'll be probably around 11 my time, something like that. So we can talk about different things. Wednesday, okay. Cool. Yeah, Wednesday works. So anyway, sorry, I'm going off topic here. This was supposed to be a Batman stream, and then I started branching out and talking about Doctor Who and all these other shows. All right, so let's go back to Batman. Back to topic. So, who do you feel has the what's comic book? I don't know if you read any of the comic books of Batman, John. What are your 3 favorite comic book Batman stories? My favorites are the Neil Adams one, the origin he redid, and it basically was the influence for Begins, and it had the scene where he fell when he was a kid, and then the bats were all swarming on him. Killing Joke, nice. Killing Joke was good. Yeah, that was about like the Joker in his early days. Yeah, the origin kind of like a slight origin story. And then I like the Death in the Family one, the one where the second Robin died. That story was intense. Then my favorite designer of the comic book one, I like the Jim Aparo one with the ears. The ears were kind of intense looking. I think he did the designs in the 70s, I believe. But I just saw a photo, I started reading his stories and through online and stuff, and I'm like, man, I really like his design of Batman. And it's interesting that as he got lighter, Batman, his ears got smaller in the comic books. I always thought that was interesting. Like when he was more intense, the ears were longer, and then when he's campier, the ears are smaller, except for the Affleck. It's supposed to be a more serious version. And then the Dark Knight Returns, where I guess Frank Miller has this tiny, tiny little, almost cat ears on Batman. But yeah, Killing Joke's good. You should definitely read Death in the Family, though. I highly recommend it. It's intense because there was a vote. Where basically they had a vote where basically would Robin die or Robin not die? And it was like 200 voters more that they wanted Robin to die, and that's how he died in that one. So not a Batman comics fan. Oh, okay. Yeah, everyone's different. I just really became a Batman comics fan through the movies. That's how I started reading them. Because I was like, wow, this is kind of interesting. I really like this character a lot. And then I got to read the old stuff. The early Bob Kane, Bill Finger stuff where he actually started killing people with a gun and stuff. That's before he started, that rule of never killing any but bad guys. He set up a special phone number for that. Okay, yeah. I think you're right. Yeah. But yeah, it was interesting. In the 30s Batman, the 39, he actually killed the bad guys. And that's totally different from the later Batman interpretations. And I found it really interesting. And I like the costume too. He had the longer ears, and he had the black and gray costume. And then I didn't like when they redesigned him and they have the blue costume. I didn't get that with a little bit of the black underline on it. I think it was because DC or whoever was requesting that it go lighter for some ridiculous reason. So that's when it started getting slowly and slowly more silly and sillier. But by the 50s, it was just like, wow, is this the same character? And then in the late 60s, early 70s, that's when Neil Adams came in, and then the character became darker again. See, I know my stuff. I know my Batman stuff. I do my research. Yeah, that too. Yeah, just like they had to for the Warner Brothers. They wanted it for the merchandise. They got to go lighter. And Michael Keaton hated it, did not like the script of Batman Forever. He's like, this is trash. I'm not starring in it. He declined it. And that's when they brought in Val Kilmer as the replacement, the successor, I should say. Because I guess Batman Returns, it didn't make as much money. I looked up the numbers. It made almost just half of what the Batman 1989 made. Yeah, for some reason. And then Forever, for some reason, it made more money than Batman Returns. So, yeah. All right, take care. Peace. John, take care. So 58 minutes of the stream. I'm probably going to do 5 more minutes, and then I'm going to call it. Take care. Yeah, we'll do a stream on Wednesday. Take care. So, yeah, I had fun doing the Knoll stream. That was a lot of fun. I think we did like 45 minutes or something like that. I think it was 45 minutes we did. And yeah, he's a Batman fan. And I thought that was cool. I was like, I thought he was. Yeah. He's doing his stream. I think I don't know what story he's doing right now. I don't know if it's the Curse of Fenric. Oh, no, he already did the Curse of Fenric one. So yeah. So I'm gonna call it in a few. And yeah, not bad stream though. Almost an hour. Yeah, and we still got this dang heat wave going. We had a big loud storm, loud thunderstorm last night. Windy thunderstorm. Almost like a dust storm, like the Dust Bowl or something. If you guys ever read The Grapes of Wrath, which is a good book. So yeah, I'm going to call it in a few. So, yep. So I did 2 streams today. I did one with Noel, and then I did the Batman stream, what's technically turned into a Batman Doctor Who stream thing. So yeah, I think I'm going to call it in a few minutes. So I did like about, hour and a half, almost 2 hours of streaming today. Not too shabby. Not too shabby. Well, money pie. That's a hard one to get right, the Sean Connery one. All right, guys. I think I'm going to call it right here. If you're not subscribed to my channel and you want to subscribe, please subscribe to my channel. I now do live streams. I do impressions. I'm going to do an angry grandpa impression. Next week, the Barilla impression. And then I'm going to do Dr. House impression the week after. And I'm going to be doing some more live streams with John Coogan. And I talked to Neil in a few weeks. He might possibly come on from the Doctor Who Chat YouTube channel. So there we go. Take care. Peace. Bye for now.